A random fact I love. After Hiroshima was bombed, experts predicted nothing would grow for 75 years, but within months, life returned. I heard that from a poet years ago, and it stayed with me. It reminds me that things can bloom sooner than we think, even when we feel delayed or undone. I was 27 the first time I came to Japan, and that trip became a core memory. I left promising myself I'd return. Earlier this year, I did, this time for a week-long indigo dyeing retreat in Tokushima. Let me show you what that was like. Hello and welcome back to Patchwork Librarian. My name is Anna, and I know it's been a while since I sat down to film a full-length video. Last time I think I said I was going to try to be better about it, and I failed. But I've been documenting my French learning journey through my shorts and over on TikTok. So that's what I've been busy with, learning French and just life. You know, you know how it is. But today I'm going to sit down and finally document my trip to Japan, which I mentioned in my very first video. Like, that was the whole reason why I started this channel or started posting on this channel, to document my experience with learning Japanese in preparation for this trip. And so I realized, you know what, I never came full circle with that. So, I'm sure you're all dying to know. I'm sure. But yeah, I thought it would be a fun thing to do to document this experience and show you, because I think this was such a beautiful and unique experience. So, without further ado, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to try my best to not ramble too much, but yeah, I'm not very good at that. But let's get into my trip now. Good morning from Japan. It's morning here. Having my first cup of coffee. It's not the greatest, but I need something to wake me up because very, very sleepy, very tired, very jet lagged. Trying to walk around and look for something to eat. It's gloomy, but it's a nice day. It's like 72 here in Tokushima. And yeah, I just woke up, decided to go explore a little bit, and then I'll see what shenanigans. There's a curry spot, I'm not sure if you can see. I don't know if it shows, but that's like my favorite curry spot from the last time I was here. I don't think they're open yet, but I'm going to try to get something to eat from there later, or definitely while I'm here. All right, gonna go find something to eat, maybe have a second, better cup of coffee. But have a nice day, everybody. I did eventually go back to my favorite curry spot, and it did not disappoint. One thing that you're going to keep hearing me talk about is how good the food was here, because look at it. This was so, so good. On the first day before meeting everybody, I arrived a little bit earlier the night before, actually, so I allowed myself to be a little tourist for the day. And this walk actually became my morning ritual. Every day after breakfast, I go cross this bridge, and that's Mount Bizan in the distance, and I'll show you what that looks like in just a moment. At the top of Mount Bizan, there's a shrine, and actually before you go to the very top, there is an office and a shrine and a museum and a whole other building. But here was me just kind of exploring the lower level, I guess you could call it. Yes, that's a minion, and it cracked me up when I saw it. And to get to the very top of the mountain, you do take a cable car, which I'm terrified of heights, but I forced myself to do it anyways. And it was totally worth it because there were more shrines at the top, and then the view of the city is just impeccable. This part, I remember feeling like you're just flying between the trees, and so that helped to push down some of my fear. But it was a really neat and cool ride, and I'm glad that I pushed past my fear of heights. And here's me just exploring a little bit more of what they had up at the mountain, which was mostly shrines. I think they also had a restaurant, and I didn't take a snap of this, but there's also a gate where you can put your lock on there, from what I remember. I'm currently in Bisan Park. I had to take a cart or a ferry up to get up here, and I'm terrified of heights. But it was actually nice. It was really fun. Now I'm just walking around. There's shrines up ahead, and yeah, I guess it's known for like hiking too. So I got a round trip, but maybe I'll try to see if I can hike the way down. But okay, I'm gonna go. I also went to the Awadori Museum,
which is a central part of Tokushima's cultural identity and one of Japan's most famous traditional dance festivals, which I believe happens in August. So we missed it, but it was really nice to explore the museum and see recreations of what the town used to look like and what the festival means to this part of Japan and the people that live here. So it was really a unique and cool experience, and I really like these replicas. They were neat.
Okay, I'm on my way down. See? So scared of heights, but it's not that bad. I got lucky this time around. I got the cart to myself. But cool. Look at that. Cool views of the city. Oh my god, what's going on? Okay, I'm gonna concentrate.
So now I'm gonna get into the actual reason why I was in Japan. I booked a week-long indigo, natural dyeing indigo shibori stitching workshop with Thread Caravan. Not sponsored by Thread Caravan or any other organization that I mentioned in this video. If anybody would like to sponsor me, I mean, who am I to say no? But I paid for everything with my own money, so just putting that out there. But now I'm going to get into what I did with Thread Caravan and Indigo Blue for You and all of the other studios and artisans that I met along the way. We started off day one with a delicious dinner, and the next day we went to Ryozenji Temple in Naruto, which is the first of 88 temples on a pilgrimage, the Shikogoku pilgrimage. And so we learned about that and the importance. It's a Buddhist temple, so we were able to explore and learn a little bit about the pilgrimage. And then we went to a ceramicist pottery studio, which is well known in this area. They're known for their pottery. And I'm not a ceramicist or potter, so I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing what people are doing here. But we got to see this man throw this, and we were all just mesmerized. Look at how giant this piece of work is. And just to give you some context, here's a picture of me standing next to one. I'm 5'3", so look at how giant these pieces are, but they were really nice. For lunch, we had udon, and I got curry because I love curry. Then we finally made it to our first activity, which was the shibori stitching and indigo dyeing. And Makiko-san, this is her studio and her work. She kindly had already pre-sketched the design onto the fabric, and then she taught us how to do the stitching, which I had trouble with. I'm not gonna lie, the beginning I couldn't get the corners right, and her and Natalia were so patient and walked me through it several times. I'm kind of slow sometimes in the beginning, but once I get the hang of it, I'm off to the races, as they say. And this is 2 days worth of work, and you stitch it up, and then you end up with the tails, and those are the needles at the end of it, and then you pull it and you cinch it up, and then it's ready to go into the vat. I do have clips of that process, but they're with other people, and I don't know how comfortable they would feel about being in my YouTube video, but it was a lot of fun. And then here's me ripping it up and finally seeing what it looks like.
Oh, different. Wow. Beautiful. You made a beautiful shape. Yeah. Shibori.
This may look familiar to you. It's in the back of all of my videos. So I think it's supposed to be a scarf, but I saw it and I immediately knew exactly where I wanted to put it. And every time I see it, I just love it. And it reminds me of my time in Japan. So what a beauty. What a beauty. Between our shibori stitching days, we visited this historic indigo dyeing museum in Aizu. And it's actually an old merchant's home and workshop. And walking through it, you can really feel how much indigo has been a part of this region's history and economy. This isn't just a craft. Indigo used to be one of Tokushima Prefecture's biggest sources of wealth. On this trip, we learned a ton about indigo, and I'm going to do my best to try to sum up the process. But this type of indigo is called awa-ai, which locals call tsukumo, and it's a natural dye made by fermenting indigo leaves grown in Tokushima Prefecture. And what makes it different from other indigos around the world is its color. It's really deep and it stays vibrant and luminous. and the whole process takes nearly a year, from harvesting the leaves to drying them, piling them into fermentation beds, and then turning them into a dye vat. Once the dye vat is ready, cloth is dipped and then air dried so the color oxidizes, turning that soft green to the deep blue we know as Japanese indigo. Next, we headed up into the mountains of Kamiyama, where we learned tsutsugaki, which is a resist dye, using kakishibu, which is a persimmon paste, from Takimoto-san at his studio, Somesho. And I absolutely loved everything about this studio. This was goals for me when I think about where I want to live and what I want my life to look like. It was this studio. It was in the mountains, a beautiful wooden cabin, just nature all around you, and it was beautiful. As for the project itself, there were so many talented people who made beautiful pieces of art. I was not one of them. I don't know what happened to me. I don't think I understood the process very well. I'm not gonna lie, I was really tired this day, and I'm not proud of my work. But I loved the experience nonetheless and enjoyed watching everybody else make beautiful pieces of art. And the food was absolutely incredible. It was a home cooked meal by Takimoto-san's wife, which I'm kicking myself because I can't remember her name, but it was so good. I think it was vegetarian, and I even went back for seconds, which I rarely ever do. And then we finished it off with this matcha bread and coffee, and look at how gorgeous this green set is. I'm trying to find one for myself, but yeah, this was a beautiful day. Our fifth day was pretty busy. We went to visit Watanabe's indigo dyeing studio, and I fell in love with this goat. She was so precious. She was kind of sneaky. I thought she wanted water, but she actually wanted to be fed. So she managed to get several different meals from me and other people who just were whipped by her beauty. But Watanabe's son was one of my favorite people that we met on this trip. Just look at how cool he is. Like, he's the definition of cool in my opinion. But we learned more about Sukumo and Indigo, and we toured his farm. And then we also wrapped it up by going to his studio where he sells his clothes and accessories that he makes here as well. They're pretty pricey, but when you learn the process, they're totally worth it. And I treated myself to this beautiful hat. I love it so much. That same day, we headed over to the Waiso studio and farm to make a Norrin curtain using katazomi. And this process sort of resembles screen printing for me. We laid down a stencil and then the paste over it, and then we dipped it several times in the dye vat. Here's what it looks like. So I haven't found a spot for it. I actually had it folded up. That's why it looks a little crinkled. I haven't found a spot for it. I wanted to put it on the doors of this room where I work out of, my office slash workspace, but I haven't found a good something. It just looks a little awkward, so I haven't found a good spot for it to hang in my house. But I'm definitely gonna put that on my to-do list to do before the end of the year because it's too beautiful to just be sitting there, and I love it. So it's definitely gonna go up somewhere. For our last activity, we headed out about an hour and a half away where we did a traditional Japanese tea ceremony. And then we went to Tonbi Studio where we made traditional fans using indigo, of course. And then we used the batik resist for our designs. And I was intending to make my design full circles, but I actually really liked the way that it came out. It came out really cool. It reminds me of different phases of the moon, which was not my intention, but sometimes accidents make for even better things than you could imagine. And I dipped my hand one last time in their indigo vat, and I went home with these beautiful blue hands, which I do miss. And that's it. That was my trip to Japan. This was my second time in Japan, and I love that country. Anytime someone wants to go to Japan, just call me. I like have the bag packed before you've even finished your sentence. I love that country, and I hope to go back many, many more times. There were some things that I did document but did not make it into the video, like a karaoke night for my sake and the sake of the other attendees and travelers. That footage will remain private, but I can tell you that that was so much fun. My voice was really raspy and sore the next day, but it was so much fun. I love karaoke. We went to this like little tiny bar that had sand in it. It was so much fun. One of the highlights of the trip for sure. And I can't overstate how much the people made this trip so memorable and beautiful for me. Just huge shout out to Makiko-san and her husband Martin. Oh, I don't know what's going on with my voice. Thank you so much. Makiko is like, if you follow her on Instagram, I'm going to leave her information down below. She's just a ray of positivity, and not the toxic or the fake kind. Like, you know, when a person is genuinely kind and sweet, and she is all of those things. Like, I just loved her energy. I loved being around her. I felt very safe with her. She's so patient, loves her craft, adores her craft, and invites you in and genuinely wants you to learn and enjoy it. And she like fusses because she's like, are you okay? Like, and even when I was struggling, she was so patient with me and patient with everybody else. And I just I can't, I don't have enough words to express just how sweet and positive and beautiful that woman is. Like, just hi Makiko, I hope that one day we can be reunited and I can learn more from you because you're just amazing. So thank you. And Martin, her husband, their story is really cool actually. He both of them, I think he worked in a company and they traveled. They actually used to live in the part of LA where I grew up in, which was really cool. And then they went back to Japan, and then she's like, all right, it's my turn. And she started doing her indigo dyeing, and Martin is so supportive, and he cooks for all of the participants. His meals were like 5-star meals, like chef's kiss. Everything was so fresh, so delicious. I loved everything that he made, and they invited, and we had their meals in their home, which was just extra special and unique. So thank you so much. And also to the people at Thread Caravan, Caitlin and Natalia, thank you so much. It was so much fun getting to spend the week with you, and thank you for curating such a beautiful and memorable experience and finding the best artisans to teach us their craft. And this is my second Thread Caravan trip, and I hope to take many, many more with you guys. It's always such a really nice time. I hate saying goodbye because I'm always like, I just want to live in this world forever. If there's anything I'm meant to do, it's to travel and learn. Um, from other artisans. But definitely, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Shout out to all my participants, my fellow travelers. I don't know if participant is the right word, but fellow travelers, thank you so much. But yeah, just, oh man, so many great people on this trip. Honestly, just, I'm sad. I wish I could go back. So, anyways, that's my trip. Enough of me rambling. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have any questions, thoughts, comments, whatever. Let me know down in the comments below. Once again, thank you to everybody from the trip, and I hope that you're all doing well if you ever stumble upon this video. And I'm going to head out now, and until next time, bye.